We are being live streamed. Good afternoon, everyone. It is Angie Atkinson, and I'm here with the lovely and talented Lise Colucci. Lise, welcome back.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Always happy to have you with me. All right, so today we are going to talk about the new supply and how, to deal with them. What should we tell them who they're dealing with? Should we give them a heads up? Is it our ethical responsibility, our moral responsibility? Is it even our right? So let's talk about it. Now, while we're waiting for the chat to populate here, I will tell you this. Make sure you keep an eye on the chat. Watch for Simmering. She will be sharing. She's one of our Mod Squad members. She will be sharing. Hey, Nicole Angelina. She will be sharing ways that you can get in touch with both Lisa and myself, as well as how you can make sure you come to all, or you have the option to come to our live streams as they come up, and some more information. So get in there and take a look at that. Otherwise, Lisa, let's just jump in. Hey, everybody.
Jumping. Yeah.
Tell me, what do you, just off the top of your head, should you or should you not tell the new supply? Wait, should we define new supply first?
Sure. Yeah.
Go ahead.
The new person in a narcissist's awareness. The new
Right,
person that the narcissist is grooming to be their supply.
Right.
What you'll call their new girlfriend or their new boyfriend.
Yes.
And
Or if it's a parent or another.
Yeah, or if it's a parent, it's another person in the family or another friend or a surrogate daughter or son or whatever they're
Whatever they're going to start to get supply from.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of you.
Instead of
going.
Mhm.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's it. Yeah, that's new supply. Yeah. Should you warn them?
Right. What do you think?
What do I think? I think it's crossed all of our minds. I think that it is really difficult to bite your tongue and to not want to intervene. It's really difficult to not want to allow that narcissist to have the attention of a new person who thinks they're wonderful. And I also think that they've already spun you as crazy. And most of the time, most often, it's going to get twisted around to make you look like you're totally attacking the narcissistic person and you're crazy. And the new person isn't going to listen.
Right.
So that's what I think.
Right.
That's what I hear.
I mean, that's what I've seen. And if you think about it, I think the best way to think about it is this. If in the beginning of your relationship with a narcissist, if we're not talking about a parent, we're talking about a friend or a romantic partner, someone came to you and said, now remembering that in the beginning of your relationship with a narcissist, what's happening? We are in love bombing. We are feeling soul connected. We're understanding that person on a deep, powerful level, right? Mm-hmm. But if we are, some rando comes up to us, or someone who we have already been told, if we're being honest, is crazy, right? Or is messed up or is obsessed with them. Well, then what happens? We go, whatever, you're obsessed with that person. You're just mad that I'm with him instead of you, right? Mm-hmm. So then they start to get this different sort of understanding. So that's the same thing that any new supply is going to do in most cases. They're not going to automatically assume that, the ex or the spurned person, the person who's the bad one now, because that's you when you're in this part of the discard or whatever. No one's going to believe anything. And as everyone in the chat is saying, no, the consensus says no. So,
that said, I have heard of it working occasionally.
I have too.
Mm-hmm. So I guess I would say, if you're willing to put your neck on the line like that for someone, know that you most likely are going to get it. Be okay with being called crazy. Be okay with all of the negative that comes your way from doing that. And maybe, but I don't know. Do we have an ethical right? Do we have an obligation?
No. And I think that's the question.
Right.
So I've had people come to me and yell at me for saying, don't bother to tell the new supply.
Right. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want somebody? Because of what I just said. Right. But there are certain cases, maybe there's someone here today who's gone through this, but certain people absolutely will go and tell, and somebody might believe them. Now, here's, I think, the exception to the rule. And that is if the narcissist is going after someone very well. Every now and then you might be able to get through to someone, your sister, your brother, your best friend, someone like that. Maybe then you should say, look, I'm, do what you want, but I'm just letting you know this is what this person does.
Mm-hmm.
This is how their pattern looks. And even those people sometimes will be like, whatever, bitch. Pardon
Right.
my language.
Sorry. Yeah, not gonna, yeah. They're
Right,
fine
but
to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, but then what'll happen is on rare occasion, one of them will reach back out to you. I've had this happen where my ex's first wife reached out to me after I met her the first and only time. And she said, "Did he do these things to you?" And I said, "Yes, he did." And we both got validation,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that's very rare. And I actually happen to also know his third wife. I was wife one, I met wife 2 and 3. The wife 3 and I are still friends. None of us overlapped as far as I'm aware, which is unusual for narcissists. But yeah, so there's no, it's interesting if you do get the opportunity to talk to a previous or a future supply of your ex or soon to be ex or whatever. Anywho, thoughts?
Yeah, I think, I don't really have thoughts on that. I mean, that makes sense. They were fortunate that when they reached out to you, you were a person who knew how to talk about it.
Right.
And that's great. But that's not always the case. So
that's also right.
It's super individual. And also we have to be prepared to be seen as crazy if we're going to do it.
Exactly. And that, look, I would absolutely not do it. There's no point. If the person comes to you, feel free, say whatever you can say.
I wouldn't do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And only after they tell you their story. You know what I mean? Like if they come to you and they go like 2 weeks in and they're like, "Oh, tell me how terrible he was to you or she was to you." Don't.
Yeah, no, because that's a flying monkey. That's someone being sent in to, or coming in of their own, and then they're just going to run back and tell the toxic person because they're not going to believe you. They're going to have to prove it to themselves.
That's right. That's right. And there's no point in that.
No, it's really hard. In that beginning stage, you have to remember we're being groomed. And we're not even we weren't thinking with what we know now.
Right.
And we're a little out of our emotional mind, so to speak, in like being swept away and being sucked into this world of the narcissist really fast. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so everything we do, we begin enabling the narcissist by believing their side of everything really fast. That's where that new supply is.
Right.
And they're playing on the narcissist. If you watch videos on grooming, on how they groom, what they're doing is they're playing into that other person's empathy already. They're oftentimes playing the victim, oftentimes, setting the stage so that it looks like one thing or another that it absolutely wasn't within the relationship, that makes them somehow either a victim or just a victim of circumstance or whatever it is. And so they already have that new supply's empathy. They already have their feeling, the caretaking feeling we get when they play the victim.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just this random person coming in trying to burst that bubble. Nope, they're not going to believe it.
Right. That's right. And that's the thing. I think when it comes down to, as Janet Meyer notes, absolutely not, as they will believe you are just a jealous ex.
That too. Mm-hmm.
That too. Yes. Let's see here. Jack says, quick answer to the topic. No, consensus thus far points to not worth it. Okay, bye. We're
done.
We're done. Oh, sorry. Okay.
What about wanting to expose the narcissist? That feeling.
Yeah, I mean that. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Everybody. Yeah, I think everybody wants to do that, right? Or many people. Mm-hmm. But I think what it comes down to is the very best way to expose them is to just let them
expose themselves. That's right.
Yeah, because right? How often when you're in a relationship, raise your hand in the chat, guys, too. In a toxic relationship with a narcissist, how many of us spent a great deal of time actually helping them hide their crap?
Oh, that's what I meant. Like by enabling, it's not on purpose.
Right.
It's just that it happens and
well, we're embarrassed for them.
Or we're confused or we're, Or
Yep.
we see the reason they act that way and we just want to like smooth the waters. Like, oh, they
Yeah.
had a hard childhood, then therefore they have triggers and therefore this and that and the other, instead of, wait, they're not actually handling they're not, why am I being responsible for their emotional outbursts? And
Right. Who cares about my triggers? Who cares about what I feel?
No one.
Right. Right. Why should you manage theirs? And yeah.
And your own, right.
And your own. And they are actively, in fact, what I've seen, actively pushing your buttons
Oh, yeah.
intentionally to try to wig you out or whatever. Yeah. Excellent information. Okay. Nicole Angelina says, nope, they're stuck with them now. No backsies. I love that. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. I got all this. Okay. For those of you who are chatting.
That's another good point. What she said there, when you are going in and being at all part of the narcissist's life at that point, when you're intervening with a new supply, it's almost the same as a Hoover. It is forcing you back into the drama of that person and into your own trauma bonding and into your own. And then whatever the response is by that new supply is going to affect how you feel in your own healing. So
that's right. And the other thing is, we've got two reasons for wanting to do it, right? One reason we want to do it is because we really genuinely feel sorry for the new supply.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. We're so burnt out and beat up by this person. We just don't want that happening to anyone else.
Right.
But the other reason we might want to do it is what? We are feeling the need to hurt the narcissist a little bit, or to get revenge maybe, or to
stop them from getting good things when they don't deserve it.
Bing, bing. That's it.
Yeah. Right. But
yeah.
This is how they live their life. They seek the good out of other people, and they're just going to do it to someone else. So you can't follow them around their whole life, stopping everyone they meet.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And Ellen says, yeah, I'm the crazy one. I'm the difficult one. That just means I'm on the right track. That's the truth when it comes to narcissists, sadly. Thank you, Simmarine, for the reminders, by the way. Hello, Mystique. Okay, Amor says, when I caught the narcissist with his new supply, I wished her the very best and told her I was happy for that. I get it. I mean, it's kind of mean, but what else can you do?
I often wondered what I would do. And I think, I thought, okay, I think one word, the only word is run. But then I'm like, but then they're not going to believe me.
Right.
But then I think I would just have to make a face that showed absolute disdain and then walk away, so that person would be like, why does she hate you so much?
Right.
I mean,
you have to, that's the thing, is that nothing you do or say will be taken with a clear, like, even that, why does she hate you so much? Right. Well, she's crazy. She's obsessed with me. She's always, she's just mad that I moved on, you know, that kind
it takes a lot to see it. And it's going to take that person a lot to see it.
Right. And we want to hate, some of us want to hate the new supply, especially when the new supply kind of overlaps our relationship. Right. Which I totally get, believe me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then there are those of us who are like, thank God.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Right. But either way, I mean, what it comes down to is that person, not all the time, but a lot of times, that person is another version of ourselves. Right. And so what I mean is, they're a nice person. They genuinely don't understand what they're getting into. They might have been in these relationships before, but this love bombing is different than the previous love bombing. Yeah. You know, they might just not be educated and might think that feeling of elation, of infatuation that the narcissist gives us at the beginning is normal. You know, and they might really think they're in love, and you really do, almost, if you really think about it from that perspective, without your own judgment of this being your person that they're taking, right? You can almost feel sorry for them, almost, right? I mean,
yeah,
depending on where you are in your healing.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah, but it's such an ugly feeling. But at the same time, like Amor says, there's just really nothing else that you can do except for either.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, well, sometimes the new supply isn't a nice person.
That's true too.
Sometimes they are the homewrecker types, so to speak, or they are playing the game right along, and they knew about you, and they, you know.
And then hate them by all means.
Exactly. And if that's the case, and also it still does no good to think about them.
No.
Let those two horrible people have each other.
Yes, because you know what's going to happen. The narcissist isn't going to change. Mm-hmm. They're still going to treat that person like dog crap the minute they notice they're a human, right? It's kind of sad and also infuriating, but also interesting to watch.
It is.
You know, yeah. I can't tell you. There's a certain female narcissist I know who goes around and destroys lives on a consistent basis. And it's very sad to watch how it is that all these genuinely nice people get involved with this person and have their lives destroyed. I can't even, it's not even amusing at this point. It's just disgusting and horrible, you know?
Right.
And so when you see this, you know,
but even as a friend, even if it's like a female narcissist and you know, like, oh, that's a guy, maybe he'll listen to me, and you're like a female, you still can't tell them. They won't listen. They're already in the infatuation.
Right. Even if they logically get it and they know what they're dealing with, they still can't stop, as what I've seen. And
yeah, it's
no codependent can until they're ready, I guess.
Right.
But, and including myself, including you, including all of us.
Sure.
Until we get to that point.
And what we don't feel.
Right. No judgment, y'all.
Nope.
Right. Oh, let's see. Yes. Okay. We will, sorry for the Discord issues, guys. I'll look at that after the chat today. Highly sensitive Wookie, hello and welcome back. Nubia says, I was warned, yet it sounded mean-spirited and unbelievable. This is, again, perception is everything, because when you are in love bombing, and you have heard that Nubia is a crazy person from Nubia's ex, and the ex is now love bombing you, and you're their soulmate according to them and all this stuff, and you are just really needing this in your life, you might really fall for it, and you might really think she was warned, she said. You know, my point is, if the ex comes to you and you've already been told, you know, this person is obsessed with me, this person's crazy, this person, you know, has all these ill will feelings toward you, whatever you've been told, you're just not going to believe it. And we can all think back to the beginning of our relationships, and we can say, man, I wish that old Supply had told me. They couldn't, because you wouldn't have heard them. You know what I mean? It's the same, it's a damn cycle. Anyway, feel free to step in on anything, Lisa.
No, I'm just listening now.
Okay. I'm just chatting along. All right, let's see. Oh, today's International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you, Ellen.
Yeah,
right on. I probably should have done something special for that, but you know. Yoselin says, I don't know if I said it right, Yoselin or Yoselin, but I'm just going to say that. I think he abused me so much of his ex, that she was trying to tell me about him, or about it. She was trying, so the ex tried to tell Yoselin about it, and then she says now, you know, in hindsight, she thinks she was trying to remove his mask, and I think that's exactly what she might have been trying to do.
Get him to be reactive, and that is get him to take the mask off and react, so that you would see it.
Yep. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, so I apparently sent queenbee.com instead of the YouTube link. I'm sorry, everybody.
Oh, there we go.
You guys made it here.
Go there too, but
my bad. Yes, do go there too. All right. Okay. Nicole says it just supports their claims about you still wanting them and you're crazy, just run. Yeah, so if you did go and you did try to talk about, you know, the narcissist to the narcissist's new supply, yeah, of course, that's what I'm saying. It will go, that will happen, right? They will already have been told. That's how the narcissist may have even gotten in with them in the first place. I've seen them a lot of times. They come in and they come with this sob story, right? The sob story. And even before I knew what narcissism was, I knew when I left my ex-husband, I knew that two things would happen. Number one, he would fade away and fall out of our child's life as well, which he did. Number two, the sob story.
Oh yeah, the other people. Yeah.
It's the poor me. Yeah, I think I told you guys this a few weeks back, but I heard like 2 or 3 years after we were divorced, which was a year after I left, that he was showing a picture of my son and me to everybody in this small town that he came from and saying that this was his wife and child and that his wife was keeping his child from him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And first of all,
You mean for him? His wife was keeping the child for him. Yes.
You know,
yeah.
I mean, he had legal rights to see the kid. He chose not
That's
to.
what I mean. Yeah.
You know, now the kid's an adult, still hasn't seen him. Whatever. But that happened. So it's funny how narcissists see children as extensions, so much so that they will literally dump your child and you at the same time.
They'll either dump your child and you, or they will try and alienate you from your child.
That too, and use the child to hurt you. Right.
The child's always something in the middle.
Disgusting.
Disgusting. Yeah. And I think, like, I talk about this a lot on the narcissist. They preload, they control the dialogue, they control the way you're going to see things, the way you will see things in the future, the way everything is set up through preloading this information into your head before they need it.
Yeah.
So they don't need it yet. They don't need you to know that their ex is crazy yet.
That's right.
Because you're not talking about that.
Right.
But they tell you anyway, and they load this info into your head so that you have it like a preconceived notion and an idea of what happened with them before they need it. And then because they know they're gonna need it.
Don't they? I know.
Oh, yeah.
Frustrating.
It's frustrating. Yep.
And that's the thing. I've watched them use those sob stories to get new supply, to make everybody feel sorry for them as part of the smear campaign. All of this stuff. And it's so freaking like textbook, right? We talk about it all the time.
Yeah. Right? I had one try and use me as to go and as we say, the flying monkey. I don't know what term we're using now, but that's the term I know. So, and at the same time, use me as temporary supply by telling me exactly all the things that this person did that were crazy, how they were the victim, they were abandoned, they were this, they were, and I knew the whole story. So I'm going, what do you think you're getting? And I thought, this is what they're doing to everyone, so that they get all the attention and any supply they can take in the meantime until they can sink their tentacles into the new supply.
It's ridiculous. And speaking of that, they'll do that. They'll have one arm on your tree branch and one arm on somebody else's tree branch, and their toes over there on a third tree branch.
Until they don't want someone they can focus in on. And
yeah, it's unbelievable the way you think, when you think about how, even if you're married to this person, they're always looking for something better. And 99% of the time, that simply means someone who doesn't know their shit yet. Pardon my language.
It's true.
Right. Ellen says, I've told some of the ex's people, I guess, some were grateful. Usually I'm labeled the crazy one that can't keep a husband. I just respond, my standards are higher than yours right now. Yes, girl. I like that response. I love that. Yeah. Let's see here. Yoselin says that her, excuse me. Oh Lord. Her ex's new supply would send her texts from unknown numbers and then would talk bad about her. And then she said, when I was on and off with him for 3 years, I would hope she would get cured, but then I think she would take him back. So basically, I guess Yoselin was in a relationship, and it's this person's been going from her to the other supply back and forth.
Oh yeah, they do that. Well, see, and here's the thing: what they're doing there is the narcissist is probably creating the jealousy, creating the hostility. They triangulated. So they needed you to hate her and her to hate you, or him to hate, whatever your genders are, right? They needed one to hate the other, one supply to hate the other, so that they'd go back and forth. The focus would go off the toxic person. And then you two are batting back and forth the negative energy, the negativity. And they just eat it up.
It's ridiculous.
Look at all this fighting over me.
Yes. Oh my God, they love it. And that makes you mad just to think about that, right?
Yeah.
That's why the very best thing you can do when it comes to ending a relationship with a narcissist is to end it so hard as far as they can tell, you never had it. Like you didn't even know that person.
Oh, I was told if I say, I better watch what I say or I'm going to burn the bridge. And that if I burn that bridge, that means they will never, ever again contact me. I will never hear from them. It will be as if they never existed in my life. And I said, where's the man?
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was the last conversation. And
Oh my
I said,
gosh.
what do you think I'm trying to do? Where's the match? I'll burn that bridge happily.
Like, come on, I've got matches. Let's go. Let's all go.
Yeah, that's fine. That's exactly what and they said, that was it. I said, goodbye.
Yes, like, hit the road, Jack. Okay.
Please. Right. Like, you're so important that, like, oh no, I better not touch your fragile ego one more time with the truth about who you are.
Indeed. It's horrible. I can't even stand these people. Okay. All right. Simmarine says, mother-in-law is attempting to hoover our eldest child. We've been careful to make sure that they're aware that that's what's happening. I think that maybe one situation where telling the news supply is wise or necessary. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So that's absolutely the truth. And I think that's really important, right? So when it is your child, and you have to be so careful how you say things, because if she has access to the child outside of yourself, then it becomes a whole other thing. So I know when our kids are younger, we can sort of control the amount of contact and stuff like that. But I know her situation's a little different with the way her mother-in-law controls them. Kind of, they have to take the chocolate a little bit. But with that being said, I think that's really smart to let them in on the mother-in-law of it all, let them know, certainly when it's your children, if you can, and I'm sure that Simmarine did so very gracefully, when the news supply is your own child or your own family member and you can get through to them, you should. That's a totally different thing. I totally agree. Thoughts on that, Lise?
Yeah, I think that especially when you have information that the child or the person in your life can verify for themselves.
Yes.
In other words, remember when grandma did this? Well, it's kind of how grandma acts over and over. Or, and they go, oh, yeah, you're right. And then, like, be careful if you remember when you shared this and she did that, well, that's kind of what she does.
Right.
So be careful.
Yes.
But that's verifiable to that person. You're not just gossiping or gossiping. I know it's not gossiping, but to somebody else, it can sound like it.
Sure.
And it's not just words. It's verifiable stuff.
Yeah.
Because she's seen it or he's seen it. They've seen it.
Yes. And I also think on that same token, it's important to remember, especially when we're talking about a teenager, that if it is a mother situation, she's going to come in with mean things about the parent. So in this case, Jack, who's our other moderator who's married to Simmarine. One of our other moderators, sorry. So in this case, she may be coming in with talking bad about Jack or even talking bad about Simmarine to the teenager. Now, I know they have a good relationship with their children, so this probably won't be an issue for them. But if for some reason, let's say the teenager's mad at you for something or whatever, and then they go and they hook up with grandma and talk bad about you, just be careful. Just be careful. Careful what you say, and let them know at a time then when they are in a good place, like where to, sort of how to gauge. Try to speak to them as unemotionally as you can, is my point, right?
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, and another topic for another time, very related, but unrelated, is when the other parent is the narcissist.
Yes.
How do you warn your children?
That
they're it's tricky and it's not direct. And
that's right.
Because you have that going on. The narcissist is going to play tug of war with whoever they pull into their court.
Yes.
I heard the best phrase. It was, you've stepped onto the narcissist stage. How do you disengage?
That's a good one.
Yeah. Like once you're in that
Scope.
situation, you are on their stage. How are you going to get off that stage so you're not in there on the spotlight?
That's a really important Yeah, that's really good. And so we all know, just in case you don't know, but if you are in that situation or your child's in that situation or whatever, gray rock, teach them gray rock.
Mm-hmm.
Teach them gray rock and make sure you communicate consistently with your kid if your kid is the one in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Casca says, I reached out to a previous partner, but they haven't responded, which is understandable, of course. And you know what? The other thing about that is sometimes they'll just take the information and then they just sit on it. And then in 6 months or a year or 6 years or whatever, they might reach back out to you. But
Did they mean that they reached out to a previous partner, like they were the new supply and they reached back for information? Like, did this happen to you?
oh, that's a good question. I think that's what they meant. They mean a previous partner of the ex.
Huh.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, a lot of people need to put it behind them and not
right.
re-engaging in it. And so they, while they may want to be able to talk to you, they can't, or it's not good for their, that's why it's a little iffy even reaching back to the old supply, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's kind of similar. Like it's painful for them, or they're putting it past them, or they don't understand what happened to them, and they're just like, I don't even want to deal with that,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Don't want to get
Absolutely.
involved. Don't want to reopen their own wounds.
Right. 100%. Yep. Amor says, wanting to help is unwise and keeps you entangled and exposes you to more abuse.
There you go.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. In a nutshell. Yep. Crystal says, I did it once, never again. Feel you.
Mm-hmm.
I never did it, but I did have people, like I said, afterward come to me. And it wasn't necessarily, I don't know that I necessarily was even doing this at that time. I think I was researching narcissism, but I wasn't fully aware at the time that I connected with both of my
Mm-hmm.
ex-husband's following two ex-wives.
My God.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right, Yoslin says, hold on, let me get back there. I always say there are two sides of every story. He even thought I was defending her. I'm defending her as in the new supply. I've seen that.
Wait, how did it start?
I always say there are two sides of the story. He even thought I was defending her. So that the ex thought that Yoslin was defending the new supply.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah. But see, then what happens is that the new supply gets crap for dealing with you. And then he abuses the new supply because maybe you do stand up or you do speak to the new supply about something. And then it becomes, the narcissist feels that you're ganging up on them. And then they come after you for that, whoever the current supply is, probably the old supply as well. Mystique says, until people have experienced a narcissism themselves, they just don't understand it. That's another really important point here. If they have not yet been with a narcissist or they don't understand the concept of a toxic relationship and that's all they know, they won't get it till they get it.
Mm-hmm.
And they won't get it till they experience it and recognize and understand that it's not about them, it's about the toxic person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a valid point with why would you try to tell somebody who doesn't like, if you let's just say that you can't see trees. They're out there and you run into them sometimes. You don't know why you're hitting wood, but you don't see anything. You can't see trees. I can see trees. And I tell you, look at this beautiful tree over here. Or look at this ugly broken tree over there. You're going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see anything. Right. You keep running into the trees. You know what I mean? It's like, right. Or like Christopher Columbus or whatever, that they say that when those boats were coming over from Europe or whatever, that the Native Americans could not physically see them. I don't know if that's true, but because they had not seen anything like that. And I don't know if that's true, but that concept of not being able to see something you've never seen before.
Yes, that you don't understand it and you can't actually, you legitimately don't see it as, you don't see the warning signs. You don't,
right.
There's no big red flag waving.
Right. Because all you know is you just fell in love with this person or you're just connecting with this person and it feels so right because that's the game. You just don't see the game. Right. Yeah. Right. Okay. Mystique, I got that one. Okay. Nicole Angelina. Now this is right here. Nicole Angelina says, I thank the new supply and pray for her at the same time. It's the best you can do.
It is.
I mean, yeah. It's funny. One of my clients, I won't go into too much detail, but she's well known. I remember at the beginning of our working together, she said she couldn't imagine life without this person. She just was so lost. And then over the course of working together, now she's very grateful that the new supply came along and that she accidentally found out.
Yeah.
Because it turns out to have been the best thing that ever happened to her. And that sounds funny, but it is, because now she's no longer in this abusive, toxic relationship. And it turns out she's met this man who, I swear, it's a whole fairy tale situation, but amazing. But she's very happy now. And this is because she was able to go through the healing process and learn what the red flags are and learn how not to get involved with another toxic person. And now she's like flowing. It's amazing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here thinking of times where clients I've talked to have reached out and it's worked. It's not something I recommend because for most of us, it doesn't. If so, like, I just keep thinking, you know, like people are going to say, well, but I'm going to do it anyway. And okay. And just know that it worked for some people, and for more, it did not work. You know, it just became what we're talking about. There is that feeling like what you're describing of when you see the new supply and you know about it, especially if you're like, say you're in a relationship and you find out about new supply. So the other person.
Yes.
That's a whole nother thing, because of course you want to say, excuse me, they're with me. What we don't realize often is we don't know who the supply really is. Who's the new supply? There are so many serial cheaters.
Yes.
That they have so many. I mean, I have one person that realized, oh my gosh, the whole time they were literally juggling 3 lives. Who was new? Who came first? It doesn't even matter at that point because it was literally legitimately 3 lives going on.
Right.
And so when they found out and they talked to the other people, that was a totally different experience than like you're out of the relationship, going back and saying, hey, new person, watch out.
Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Really quickly, I want to come back to that, Lise, so please remember.
Yeah.
But really quickly, I just want to say thank you to LNC for the super chat. She says, thank you for always giving and showing me the tools to survive as I walk down this road to my true self. Much love. And I just want to say right back at you, baby. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate you so much. Okay, I want to come back and talk about this. So you were saying,
when you're in a relationship still and you find out there is other supply, which we would call new supply or, you know, other supply. Angie disappeared.
I'm still here. Don't worry.
And I was saying that sometimes people will either reach out to that other person or other people, or somehow, you know, they will be reached out to. And sometimes that can be helpful. Other times it can be a battle.
Right. And it almost doesn't even matter, honestly, unless you are really ready to know the information, to hear the information. Like you said, it's just a crapshoot. You just don't know how a person will react. But ultimately,
you don't know where their feelings are what they know. All, you know, it's.
I have done a few stories on people where people will come to me and, you know, tell me their stories. And there's one video I have somewhere where 2 women got together, ganged up on the narcissist. Another one of our former admins, Lise.
I remember.
You remember that? That was Therese. She had been on television, national television, for something kind of crazy. I did a whole story where she and with her, I got the story from her. She actually, her and these other ladies who had been, 3 of them, I think, who had been played by this narcissist, they like glued his member to his stomach or something, and in some sort of.
And there was more to the story, though. There was a lot of potential child stuff.
Oh yes.
So there was the mother bear, as well as, it wasn't just 3 scorned women. It was not. No.
In fact, I think 2 of them had daughters around the same age, right?
Yeah, teenage daughters. Yeah. So this was a predator.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wasn't mad at them for doing what they did. I mean, it was
No,
kind of odd the way it went down, but
it was interesting that they could see each other's viewpoint.
and that's the thing I love is when I do see, and it's not that I want everybody
No.
to get gang up on a narcissist, but if the people involved who are affected, whether it's men or women or both, who are affected by the narcissist can kind of connect and go, wait a minute, and see all the details and all the ugliness from an outside perspective almost, they can actually heal together in some ways. Not always.
Yeah. It can be shocking though. It can be like too much info too fast.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And it does help. It does help if you like, I think when you have the overlapping situation, I think that's harder for anyone involved. Right. So like those ladies did something outside of what maybe I could have done myself without being crazy. You know what I mean? As far as connecting with each other under those circumstances, you know, like I said, with my situation, I connected with them after I was divorced. They had been, I connected with the second one while they were still married, and then that was almost the end of their marriage. And I'm not saying I had anything to do with it, but I'm just, I mean, technically I didn't try to make anyone leave anybody. But I am saying that probably what I said or what I acknowledged about my own relationship probably didn't hurt her desire to leave. The second one, I think I didn't meet her until, the third one, the second one that I met, I think I didn't meet her until either they were at the end or right before the, or right after the end. And so she's a little less emotional than me, a little more direct than me. I kind of love her. She's kind of awesome. But what was so strange about us is that we were all very different people. You know, there was a blonde and there was a redhead and there was a brunette and there was an older one and a younger one and there was a, thicker one and a thinner one and all the things. And but we were all writers, which I found interesting.
Interesting. He found his.
Yeah. Anyway, or some of us were, well, one of us was already published out in the world, and the others were, hoping to get there. But of course, when you're with a narcissist, you really can't do much for yourself. No. So yeah. All right. Let's see here. So yeah. Amor says to Simrine, as a parent, it's different. Hopefully you protect your kid. And I believe that Simrine will quite successfully do that. Let's see. Swirling Star says, I told the old supply, the one I didn't know existed simultaneously to me. And how did that go, Swirling Star? I'm interested in your story, knowing how that went. Because like I said, sometimes it works every now and then.
Well, I think of things like picture growing up in a family and say you've got siblings.
Right.
And how when you're adults, like I'll have people talking to me and they'll say, I just realized that my mother or my father was a narcissist. And my siblings don't see it. I mean, that's telling to me of like when you tell a new supply, that's because the siblings are probably not the scapegoat. They probably aren't the ones it's not happening to them yet.
Right.
And that's how the new supply is. It isn't happening to them yet.
Right.
And we, as humans, we go by our own experience and we learn through our own experience. We don't generally take the warnings and go, okay.
Right.
Right.
And something else I've noticed with that situation where you were saying where one sibling will see it and the others won't, is a lot of times the sibling who does call it out is the black sheep.
Yeah, the black sheep. Yep.
Hey, I'm the black sheep. Yeah. But even sometimes the golden child or the lost child, but a large percentage seems to be the black sheep.
Oh yeah.
Which of course automatically the narcissist goes, well, it's just Angie, so don't believe her.
And
then
we all know it's just her. Yeah,
right.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows she's the bad one. And the other thing, now I can laugh about that. It used to really hurt my feelings.
Yeah, it's hard. It's
I've learned to take pride in my rebelism.
Right.
Anyway, okay. The other thing is that you see boys. Now, bear with me on this one. In some cases, the opposite sex child is less likely to believe the same-sex child of the parent. And that's because, for example, boys tend to be more tolerant of moms. Girls tend to be more tolerant of dads especially when that child is the golden child, right? I'm getting really specific here, so it's not always relevant, but that's what I've noticed a trend in that way. The boys tend to be more mom focused or mom tolerant than girls.
And if mom is toxic, then they don't see it or they won't see it.
Correct, because in some cases, toxic moms do the husband-child thing.
In most cases, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about most, but in
many,
yeah. I'm just thinking,
or they do the baby child thing, where they constantly just anything that the one kid does is tolerable, it's fine, and they'll just walk around with a dustpan and a broom cleaning up after them, proverbially speaking, so that child mom can do no wrong, or anyway. Yeah.
Well, they usually do it. I've seen it in combo where it's like coddling and sort of infantizing the child, and at the same time making them their counsel and miniature husband.
Yes.
With a son. I've seen it with the son. Yeah.
And we're not talking about, in this case, sexual abuse.
No, it's not in that way. It's emotional.
Just emotional incest, I think they call it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was avoiding the word, but yeah, that's
well, we're probably already demonetized.
It is what it is. Yeah.
It's fine. Let's see. Yeah, She-Wolf says, hey, Christine Schwartz, by the way, our other mod squatter in the house today. Happy to have you. She-Wolf says, narcissists are professional manipulators. Ding, ding. If only they could get paid for it, right? I guess the car salesman can, kind of. Anyway,
well, they do in the form of supplies, just not
that's right.
Different kind of money. Yeah.
That's right. Raina says, I've told the new girlfriend and she turned on me.
Yep.
This woman is related to me. It turns out she's more toxic than him. I'm so sorry, Raina. She says, now I wish I didn't because she's been smearing me till recently. Listen, hold your head up high because you are not the problem in that relationship. And I'm so sorry that your relative is doing that to you. Just know that you're not alone. You have any thoughts for Raina, please?
No, that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. That's what can happen, and it's unfortunate.
And it breaks your heart even more when it's your relative.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Ellen, that's right. The narcissist plays the victim well, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Okay, now Cimarine says, you did a scenario on TikTok where the new supply calls the narcissist ex, asking for them to divorce the narcissist so she can marry him. The ex says simply, I'm willing to tell him to sign the papers. Because that's an example of the new supply hearing the BS from, the narcissist, and the old supply going, girl, I already sent those papers over. Like, just tell them to sign the papers. It'd be great.
They notoriously hold up the divorces, my friend.
Of course they do. Yes. That and they will blame when the new supply is like, come on, let's get married, hurry up. I'm sorry, this bitch is holding up the divorce. What am I supposed to do? Yeah. So when one takes on that, if you are ever in a position to get that phone call, by all means, say, yes, please accept the papers.
Exactly.
Have him sign them. Be happy to divorce him.
Been my aim for a while now.
It's frustrating. Freaking narcissists. Okay. See, my ex was less of a holder-upper and more of a ghoster in that way. Like, when I filed the papers, he signed them, and then that was it. And he only signed them because I kind of stood over him and made him sign them. I was that girl. A little bit. Because I was done. I had been done. I wasn't with anyone else. I didn't even want to be with anyone else at that point. But I just did not want to be married to him anymore.
Yeah.
But not everybody can do that, because some narcissists are more financially powerful and more vengeful. My ex was just more like, meh.
Well, whatever. Sometimes they'll just hold it up for no reason.
That's right. Yeah, I've seen it.
And they'll ghost the process. So
I've got one. Yep.
Yeah. And then there's each state has a different law of how long that can hold out for.
Yeah, and apparently in certain parts of Europe, it's a whole big messy thing, because I have a client in Europe right now who is just, dude ghosted her. She has no idea, and there's a lot of money involved and a lot of property involved, and it's really messed up. And so I don't, even when they do, it doesn't matter, but it's just a mess up situation. They use it as a way to keep you under control.
Oh yeah.
From afar, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
To keep,
yeah.
Yeah, to keep you under their influence.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Patty says, I just tuned in and I swear you two have been the fly on the wall that has been watching my life, because this is exactly what I need to be hearing. I'm so glad to hear that, that we can help Patty.
Glad. And also, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Peggy says, it might work if we educated people on narcissistic abuse, not pointing out a specific individual. Maybe.
Maybe.
This is what we're doing
this is
here.
what happens. We do it here, and then you hear things like, well, people say everyone's a narcissist. That's just a buzzword these days, and so it is so hard. You just like,
It's
yeah.
99% of those people, right? I would say those people that say those things, because I get those comments too. I think those people who say those things are either narcissists and they're offended because their person watched one of our videos and was like, look, this is you. Never do that, by the way. Or they are just people who've never experienced it.
Never experienced it, right? Or people who can't look at what they've been through.
That too. Denial is not just a river in Egypt.
Nope.
Yes. That's a very good point, Peggy, though. It is. And this is literally what started me doing these videos many years ago, because I was getting all these people emailing about my blog posts that I was writing about it. And like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, how did you even, like, this is before everybody knew the word gaslighting in the world. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah.
It does help though. You're right. It helps at least give people
awareness.
Something to go on, some sort of
validation.
And looking for red flags and
yes. Awareness. It's about awareness, right? Awareness and healing, both of those things. That's why I say the duo method: discover, understand, overcome. First, you have to find out you have the problem, because it's sometimes so subtle that you just, something's wrong and you can't quite.
You think it's you. You think it's
definitely. I did for a long time. Yeah, but it's almost. I mean, certainly, look, none of us are perfect, but most of us in this room right now, and most of us who have been directly connected to narcissists, we're nice freaking people. Okay, we are people pleasers. We would bend over backward to help someone else if it meant making someone else feel safe or happy or whatever, even if it means we don't have what we need or we don't have any support at all. We go without so they can have whatever. And the narcissist would have you believe that you're the most selfish, evil, lazy, whatever they're telling you you are. Right?
That was my favorite.
What was it?
Rude. I'm so
rude. Oh, I've heard that one too.
So rude.
So rude, so disrespectful. I used to hear that one.
Rude and disrespectful. That was it. You are rude.
You're disrespecting me. Right. All that.
Okay. I am now.
Right. Let's talk about disrespect. Okay. Okay. She Wolf says Gray Rocky for the win. Absolutely. Crystal. I like what Crystal says here. She says, just let them find out on their own. They will take them back anyway, because they will ask for an explanation and not realize they're being manipulated to take them back. That's if they leave in the first place, right? No, the truth is, I mean, it sounds harsh, but it really genuinely is the only way to do it. If they come to you, that's another story. And even like I said, if it's very soon after they got together, I wouldn't believe them. I would just say, you come see me when you're ready or whatever. Oh, did I miss hold on a minute. Yeah, there's Ellen's. I thought I just saw, She Wolf. Hey, thank you. I just saw She Wolf's, I don't know why I didn't see it before. A super chat from She Wolf says, I appreciate the stream and hope it brings help. Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat, my friend. I lost a bunch of chat.
Yeah, we understand. Scrolling.
Yeah, it happens. Lottie Martin says, cheers to Jack Lehman. Nubia says, I definitely burned all the bridges and muddied all the waters, and 2 years later I got 2 Hoovers. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. They'll still come. It's all
It's funny, the difference, the pride and the shame and the shamelessness. All of it is hilarious, because after all of that, they still Hoover. They will Hoover.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes you'll swear They will, this one, mine's different. They won't. And then in 2 years or 20 years, you'll call me and go, okay, you were right. This still happens. And sometimes the Hoover is not about getting you back. Sometimes it's just about getting attention, supply, causing drama, whatever.
Or it's indirect. It's not right at you. It's through other people.
Yes, that's a good one too. Yeah. Tell your mom I said hi. I heard that.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yes. Thoughts?
No, that's yeah, exactly. That's
yeah. Now this is a really important comment from Ellen. She says, it's taken 10 years for my children to see the truth. And meaning, you know, the narcissist tried to alienate her children, her adult children. She said, being your true self eventually shows who the narcissist is. And I think that right there is very important, because it might feel like it's never going to fix it. Because I've several clients over the years where their children were alienated from them by their co-parent or some other narcissist in their life. And their children are just like, no way, stay away from me. And I'm working with one right now, and it's so sad because she loves them so much, you know, and she's trying so hard, but she doesn't know. She doesn't want to overwhelm them. You know, it's such a sensitive. Ellen, I'm so glad that you were able to, that your children were able to see the truth. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, this is, I mean, if you can maintain who you are, the problem is we're swept into the drama, we're swept into the arguments, we get reactive to the narcissist, and we're not being our true self a lot. We're not being our better self in front of the children. So if we can put it aside and be just like, let that narcissist be who they are, especially if you are parallel parenting, bye, you're not in my house. And be ourselves so our children see it. Hopefully, even with some alienation going on, hopefully down the line, we've done enough just being ourselves for that child to say, I actually want my mom or dad back. I actually wonder what happened then. And hopefully see the other parent.
Yes.
It's probably one of the more painful parts of the whole thing, don't you think?
Indeed.
Like the alienation is, your hands are tied. But being yourself means that in the end, for yourself, you were true to yourself. You did your best to be who you are. And it's not because of you that they left. It's or that they believed the alienation. It's because that other person is a convincing jerk that twists the truth about you. You know?
And it's so hard sometimes, right? Because especially if it is your children or someone close to you who you feel like they should know you better than that, right?
But they're being bought.
Yes.
They're being Disneyed. They're being bought. They're being lied to.
Yeah, because it's not even about them. Sadly, it's about being used to hurt you. They're being used to hurt you. And that's
and they're creating loyalty binds through guilt trips, through all kinds of means that they're using to make sure that child's loyal to them and not you.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. Nubia just sent us a super chat saying, thank you for helping me to see it for what it is. And I'm grateful that we can do that for you. And thank you so much for the super chat, Nubia. Any thoughts for her?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Sunny Day says, I don't know how long we've been. Okay, we're going to do a couple more and then we're going to have to wrap up because I know we both have appointments coming shortly. But let's do that really quick. We can do a couple more, right? Okay. Sunny Day says, my ex-narcissist married the new supply, only knowing her 2 weeks, and 4 weeks later, she caught him cheating. And guess what? She contacted Sunny soon thereafter, of course. And you know what? In that moment, Sunny, I hope you told her what you know.
Everything.
Right. Because it's never going to be easy. It's never going to be one of those situations where it's just going to, you know, but if you're in a situation, just if somebody comes to you after something like that, why not? You know, be compassionate. Say, look, this is what happened to me. I'm so sorry. Whatever you want to say. Okay, let's see here. parental alienation is a disgusting thing to do. Maybe that's what we should talk about next week, parental alienation.
Yeah, that's a good one. Not a good one, but a good topic. Yeah.
A good topic. I mean, it's one that I have a lot of personal connection to as a child of a narcissist. So, yeah. Okay. Amor says, working on accepting that I lost my entire family. That is a whole process, and I'm so sorry. I can sadly relate, and we can definitely work on that as well in the near future. So if anyone, Jack or Lisa, or anyone's keeping, Jack, if you would just write these down for us. Accepting that you lost your entire family, we have to go into contact with a family member, and parental alienation. I would really appreciate that for new, so we can do those as topics in the next couple of weeks. Otherwise, Lisa and I might forget. We forget sometimes.
Try to write them remind down. Us. We do write them down. Yes. We try.
Please write it down. You can write it down too, Lisa, because we did remember one time when you did that.
I usually, if I do it while we're talking, I just do
yes.
it. Sit on
okay. Right on. Nuclear Winter says, why would you do that? What? Don't talk to new relationships. Just walk away. Who cares if they have new supply? At least it's not you anymore. Absolutely. I feel you on that. But there are some of us along the way who, again, like I said, they either want to tell the new supply to protect the new supply because they really feel sorry for anyone getting in that situation, or they want to take something from the narcissist because they feel like, the narcissist doesn't deserve another nice person or whatever. And in some cases, they're mad at the new supply because the new supply may have snuck in ways that were inappropriate, or they may have known the person was connected and then still went ahead. And as we talked about earlier, in the homewrecker situation, we don't really have a lot of sympathy for those people over here. But,
right, and people are also still trauma bonded often when they're doing this. They're still, right. Because we got to remember, this isn't a year down the line. This is usually weeks or days, right. Or like a month right. Max. It's fast. It's often when you're still in communication with them. You haven't gone no contact yet, obviously, because there is new supply. Mm-hmm. So you're still in the keeping tabs on them, or
it's painful.
It's a painful point. And it feels really unjust. It feels really unfair. And so that's often why people, but absolutely. The logic says just stay out of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is a painful, and I think we have to be very careful not to judge other survivors.
Oh, yeah.
In what they do.
And every situation's different. So,
right. Mm-hmm. We don't know all of their, while we do all have some similarities in our stories, we also have some big differences and different types of, different levels of.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Different communities. You may have new supply that's within, say it's I have heard of it in a yoga community where it was a tight community. And and the person was left there for someone else, or not for someone else, but some new supply came in quickly. Mm-hmm. She was like, do I warn her? She's innocent. She's new here. She doesn't know he's preying on the new people. And, so it just really depends.
Right. Right. Exactly. Okay, let's see here. One more. What do you say?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have, let's see. Oh, this one from Costco is kind of interesting. A little bit off track, but still interesting. Why do narcissists say they're geniuses? Why do they lie about being in Mensa and having a high IQ? Again, I think it's just about grandiosity. I mean, some of them do have a high IQ. They just have a really low EQ. Mm-hmm. But I would say that in order to be labeled as a genius, you might have to have some amount of humility. I don't know, maybe not. But I mean, IQ is just a number of a test. I took some, I've got great IQ scores. That doesn't mean anything. You can be, I also know people who are highly intelligent who can't take a test to save their lives. And so they have low IQ scores, but they're obviously incredibly intelligent. I don't think that number means anything, And
I think why they claim to be something they're not, in the sense of something great. I'm in the special forces. I'm in Mensa. I am what it was the one night I heard. I am chief, chief assistant to the king of somewhere. It turned out they were a person that cleaned the bathrooms in a place where that king or prince visited. but they were the chief assistant. So it's like, why do they present these obvious things you could research and find out? I think a lot of sociopaths do that.
Yeah.
They will play. I've heard from somebody who asked their sociopath this question. Why did you make up those fantastic lies and pretend that was your life? They said, I just showed you the life I wish I had.
That's
I
offensive.
decided I didn't like my life one day, so I made one up. That's what they said. Yeah.
And that's
Oh,
probably
what's that? That's yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a shock. That person might have been intoxicated at the time they said that, because that's a shockingly honest statement in some ways.
This is someone where the mask is completely off. And so they have no reason, and the person hasn't, is still talking to them. So there's no reason to not at this, what happens once that mask comes off and the person is like truly sociopathic. They're like, fine, you want it?
Here you go. Here's all the
I already know you're not going anywhere. So let me just, yeah.
Oh, rougher.
Yeah.
That's right. So many things. Oh, and Ellen says, they believe their own lies no matter what. Hello, Monique. Yes,
oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And they believe their lies. Yes, that too.
100%. Yes. All right. I really want to sit and talk with you guys for many more hours because I so enjoy this, but unfortunately I have to run. So I will see you all next week at this time. I'm going to try to produce some new not recycled videos in the near future in this coming week. So if you have thoughts on what you'd like to hear about, know about, please let them put in the comments here, put it in the chat if you're with us live, and or tell our admin, our mod squatters, what you need and let us help you. And Lise, you will be live again on your channel when?
Tomorrow.
Okay. And
today, if I always try, but we'll see. And then tomorrow.
And for those people who are interested in group coaching, when will you? What days are you doing the groups?
We are doing group Zoom. Group is on Zoom. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4:30 Pacific, and Fridays at 11 Pacific.
AM or PM?
AM.
Obviously, I guess.
Yeah, well, it could be middle of the night. I'm up, but no.
Okay.
No, that would be for me.
So they have those options, plus they get an ongoing group IM or DM chat,
right?
Just for the group members, and so there's tons of support. So they have 3 times a week they can get face to face, plus the ongoing group and other stuff that you give them little gifts. So that is what, 60 a month?
60 a month, and let me clarify, 4:30 p.m. 11 a.m. That Tuesday and Thursday are the evenings, and then there's a daytime one for people because I have people from Europe and rest of the world that are asleep during our other meetings. So yes,
and I'm just going to double check the URL. I think it goes to it. Let me double check. Yes, that is queenbeing.com/groups. It's a ridiculously well priced.
The people in it are amazing. The survivors that are there and sharing and doing the work to help themselves heal. Yeah. And right now, if you guys go over to Lisa's channel and you look at her front video, I think it's the one with the testimonials. So there's a couple of them there. Yeah, so you check that out if you're interested. It's very it's cozy, very highly regarded. Yeah. There's nothing like it in the industry right now. I don't think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Kind of my baby, so it kind of gets taken care of. I am very grateful and proud of Lise for all she has done with this script. She created it from the ground up. I tried once; it was terrible. I'm not good at that. Lise is you're really good at it, and you're good at keeping everybody on track, making everybody feel safe. And I've heard so many really good things. So thanks for all you do. Good. You're welcome. Yes. My pleasure. All right. We will see you guys next week. Bye. And Jack and Simmering will give you the hey, Bonnie from our mod squad also here. Please watch the chat for Jack and Simmering. And I see a lot of mom stuff in here. So for those, Jack, if you would also add to our list mothers. Oh, we might need to do another Mother Day. Mother's Day. Yes. Okay. All right, Lise, I'll see you next week. And thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. See you. Bye-bye. Bye.